Hi, this is Joke Lab, a place where I take one observation and write some jokes about it. So let's get started. Sometimes, when I'm working from home and there is no one at home, there is this silence. And that silence is only an external silence. Internally, there are 10 versions of me fighting over 100 life choices that I've made in past 6 months. So to avoid this, I play some random podcast on YouTube. It's like I make the room around me louder so that I can silence the voice inside me. And in this podcast, there were two comics, American on top of the game, doing this for past 10 years. And in the middle of the conversation, they say something interesting. They say, we all are shooting in the dark. No one knows what they are doing. Dan Saunders said this to Chris DeStefano in a podcast being recorded in the back of his car on the street of Manhattan. Now, if you have listened to any of the episodes of my podcast, of this podcast, you know that I crib about no subscribers, no one's watching, not even my friends. Yeah, and I often have this question: what am I even doing with my life? But when I hear that the top comics in the world are also struggling through this, and even they are just shooting in the dark, like I am with this podcast, for some reason, when I see someone who's better than me but has the same problem as me, it makes me feel better. So I thought, let's leave everything and let's listen to what these two legends have to say. And that reminded me of something, you know, uncertainty. It is the worst feeling in this world. It took me back to my college days. I'm chasing this girl who I have a big crush on, and she's giving me some hints. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I have some chance. And sometimes I feel like, oh, she's also talking to Tony. And what the hell, Tony? You are my best friend. I did not expect you to do this. Harami. Now, I had two things to stress about. One, that she's going away from me. And two, Harami Tony, how can you do this to me? All of this was happening in my college. I had a crush on this girl. We used to have lunch together. I remember she used to order tiramisu. Tiramisu in my college canteen, but that's a different story. But she used to order tiramisu, and since I'm the man, I used to pay for that tiramisu. Evening snacks, she used to buy frappe and croissant, and I used to pay again. Dinner, we used to have even dinners together, and I used to think it's a date now, right? Lunch, snacks, dinner, and she used to order triple Szechuan noodles for dinner. I used to think her mouth is going to stink now after this, but I was in college, desperate times, and I pay for that too. And then she used to go home. Uh, And sometimes when I used to come close to her, I could sense that she is not comfortable. So I avoid doing it, as I must, and as everyone must. But I still had a crush on her. So I try to be around her. Small talks, lunch break, walks after lecture. Just try to make her enjoy my company. And then comes Tony. Cat eyes, tall, lanky, comes to college in an SUV. He dresses good, smells good, and has a cool backpack. You know, in college, these are the things you show off. A backpack. He had a cool backpack. And I used to think that that is why he's so cool. Not because he had a rich father, not because his name was Tony in an Indian college, but because he had a cool backpack, which was different from everyone else's. Everyone had the same backpack, two zips, one for laptop, other for your books and stationery. But he had a backpack that looked like a sack with ropes on top of it to tie it. No zip. And for some reason in my mind, that was so cool. And Tony was a good friend of mine, one of my best friends actually, because him and we both were Malayalis. And two Malayalis outside Kerala are either best friends or arch rivals. There's nothing in between. And one day, it's pouring rain, and Tony comes in his SUV, and I stand there with my umbrella, and next to Tony sits my crush. She calls me to hop in. I hop in his car, and we go for a drive. And then finally, Tony takes us to his parking in the building basement. And over there, he opens up his dicky. And in that dicky is this decoration with a garland thing which said, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And Tony knew everything, okay? It was as if he asked her to ask me to hop in so that he could just rub it on my face. And I asked that girl, "Are you going to say yes?" She said yes. And then I said, "Congratulations, guys. I'm so happy for you." Now, thanks to Tony, that story came to an end. A bitter end, but an end. But over here in this podcast, I get hints and then people just ghost me, like I ghost my college friends. One day I get 24 views, and then next day I get 0 views. Now, even after this ghosting, I write, I record, I edit, I upload, thinking that there will be these 24 people who will come back to watch. But no one is coming, and I'm uploading, and I'll keep uploading because we all are shooting in the dark. And who knows which one would hit the target? I can quit all of this today and go back to doom scrolling as my favorite hobby. But if I quit, then this would never reach Tony. And the world would never know that Tony is a harami. My name is Prateek. This is Joke Lab. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, I'm so fresh like the morning. Mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm shining so bright, so bright. Don't come and try to share some of this light.